Welcome back, everybody, to Quake Pro League Week 6. I am 40 Lions alongside Lethal. We just saw the temporary, potentially, King of South A crowned as Nosfa took it over Maxter 2-1, but we're going to get into CNZ versus RAISY, and I can't help but feel like CNZ is in for a world of hurt, Lethal.
Yeah, last series was very heated, very aggressive. We've got everything we wanted and more, apart from the final map. But this series, yeah, this is going to be, it could be a one-way ticket for the struggle bus for CNZ. And RAISY has just been very dominant in terms of his performance in the EU region already. And we're only just about halfway into stage number 2. But RAISY has been looking very, very good. He's progressed massively over the last couple of months. And I feel like recently, he is still one of those players where, you have to be super, super aware. And it's very, very difficult to surprise a man like RAISY. He always expects the unexpected. So anything you try and do to try and surprise him, he won't be surprised. You could have a birthday party and he won't be surprised by it, even if it's a surprise one.
He's got all the tricks up his sleeve, it seems as though. And, polar opposite leaderboards, both of them coming off a bye week, but RAISY sitting atop the EU leaderboards, CNZ at the very, very bottom, looking for some sort of way out. And against RAISY, I don't know if he's going to find it. We've seen crazy things happen before. I mean, CNZ has put on just wonderful performances in the past, but he seems to be on a bit of a downturn right now. This is going to be a rough one for him, but anything is possible, as I always say. But yeah, I mean, whenever I think of RAISY, I personally think of how many gauntlets are we going to see? Because it's just inevitable.
Yes.
You feel like RAISY's going to show up, he's going to gauntlet you a little bit, be it just a little beep boop on the nose, or maybe 2 or 3 frags with it. I feel like it's going to happen, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to how this one goes. If it's just going to be the RAISY show, or if CNZ has a little bit something left to try and tackle this Goliath.
Yeah, RAISY did it for us, in week 3, even on that final map against his opponent. I think he's trying to gauntlet them within 90 seconds of it, around the 80-second mark on Molten Falls. And against CNZ, it's going to be a bit more difficult than that because we know CNZ, he's more of a very neutral kind of player in terms of how he tries to figure out his opponent. He doesn't really have a particular style. He kind of molds into what he wants to be throughout the entire course of the map or the series, depending on who he's playing against. But, he's going to have to adapt very, very quick and decide how he wants to play this series out because RAISY isn't really the kind of person who will kind of steadgate his position on the map and how he wants to try and position himself and flank. Because as soon as he sees even sniffs out the opportunity of trying to push you, he will go straight in, no holds barred, and he'll make sure you're in a world of trouble. But it's like I said, it's very, very difficult to try and surprise RAISY. And what's CNZ going to do? Is he going to maybe have more of a passive defensive style and play it more like chess and try and see what RAISY can do to try and figure him out? Or is he going to be super aggro and try and throw RAISY off? It's very, very difficult because RAISY has such a solid aim, especially with his tracing.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the pick ban, see if CNZ can get any kind of advantage going at all, because it all starts with the pick ban. So we take a look. Molten Falls right off the bat. CNZ's pretty good at that map, but RAISY's no slouch. Sorlag versus Anarchy. Then we got Corrupted Keep, Galita versus Strog and Peaker. And finally rounding it out with Runes of Sarnath, Athena versus Nyx. Thoughts on this one, Lethal?
I'm surprised RAISY didn't ban Molten Falls instead of Awoken because I still feel like that's one of CNZ's better maps, unless, CNZ is actually also quite good on Awoken, but I know that Molten Falls is definitely in his top 3 in this map pool. A clutch ban, 40, lol, not really too so much of a surprise there. RAISY always normally is the one who goes for that no matter what chance he gets, depending on which map, so he's perfectly fine. So the Anarchy versus a Sorlag, I'm sure that's going to be an absolute slobber knocker to start things off. And Corrupted Keep, Galena versus the Strog, we'll have to see if RAISY can keep his tabs on those totems. And last but not least, the Athena versus the Nyx. So, there could be quite a passive style. We'll have to see how things will shape up here, but RAISY does have a slight advantage in terms of the verticality of how he wants to approach RAISY with CNZ selecting the Athena. So we'll have to see. It's going to be a lot about the hourglasses and to see if CNZ can actually catch RAISY off guard going for the hourglasses, maybe around the courtyard area or maybe another part of the map. We'll have to see on Runes.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to try and break this down and make sense of it, but at the end of the day, anyway you slice it, it's RAISY versus CNZ, and RAISY's just on a hot streak. He looks so dominant. So do the pick bans even really matter? I feel like RAISY might come out on top regardless. I'd love to see otherwise. I want to see a close set as always, but I just feel like RAISY is just playing on a whole different planet right now. Again, atop the EU leaderboards. He did finally drop a map, so we're not going to see a Rafa-style run this season from RAISY, but he's damn near close to it. So it's going to be a rough road ahead for CNZ. If I had to pick, I would go RAISY. I don't know how the chat predictions are going. It looks a little one-sided. I'm going to be honest with you, Lethal. But how about you? What do you think about this one?
I'm still going to say, I think this could be the first clean sweep of the day. I reckon RAISY will be the one to 3-0 CNZ, but it just depends on how CNZ plays. I think he needs to play a little bit more of basis style in terms of his passive aggression and how he wants to counteract anything RAISY does. But at the same time, if you play like that, it's very difficult to also try and contest the items. So it depends what CNZ wants to do. If he plays very aggressively, then I think RAISY's going to easily 3-0 him. If CNZ doesn't take extra caution, then RAISY's still going to win, but I think CNZ will just maybe take a map. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough start on Molten 2. Anarchy versus Sorlag, you got to do so much damage. You have to be at the items to at least chip, if not steal away, because if you let Sorlag get that stack and get out of control, it's just going to be curtains. So a rough road ahead for CNZ right off the bat, but, you know, thoughts and prayers in the chat. Let's see if he can make some magic happen. On the other side, if you want to see some gauntlets, maybe make some noise in chat. I mean, I know that's selfish, Lethal. I know, I'm sorry. But it's just, how can you not? How can you not? This is going to be it to kick off the set between these two. Again, top of the leaderboard, top of the pops versus the very, very bottom. CNZ has a tall, tall mountain to climb, but we're going to be live on Molten Falls, map number 1 between these two, live right now.
Maybe we need a new prediction as well. Will RAISY gauntlet his opponent? So that'll be maybe another one to add in the future. But CNZ, we're going to start things off with him. He's going to be waiting to see if RAISY comes past, which he has done, both of them with the trade on the rail. But CNZ is playing it very cautiously, but, you know, maybe a bit too cautious here. The inject comes out, but he's already taken up on the spit damage. RAISY just needs to wait around and see if he does get taken down, which he does, because he won't have enough time to get the health bubble to clean up from the acid spit. But now RAISY already with a huge stack advantage, map control, going straight for the heavy, doesn't get it in time, but should be able to take CNZ out here.
Wow.
Only trades. Okay, so that's, you know, a bit peculiar, considering we thought that he has the weapons in his arsenal, he should be perfectly fine. But CNZ, will you be able to take him out here? RAISY has a slight advantage, but CNZ is the one who cleans him up with the LG. Good stuff from CNZ, and this is a map CNZ needs to try and win on, because this is probably one of his better maps out of the 3 in this series.
And CNZ just ice in his veins, taking down Sorlag twice. His LG's so good. I know she's a thick girl, but still, RAISY just not finding the beat that he needs. He is going to concede the mega as CNZ rotates back towards the heavy. The spit comes out from RAISY. CNZ able to get that heavy and get out of there. Great rail as well. Keeping RAISY low. Can he find it? Just misses out. RAISY trying to maximize damage with that machine gun. CNZ keeps missing. Finally finds his target, up 3-2. And this is the CNZ we want to see here. Doing good damage. Great LG work, and taking every opportunity he can to chip away at this gigantic dinosaur. Again, doesn't want to let the stack get too crazy. He's going to miss out on that rail. That's essentially a free mega for RAISY, and could be the start. And getting back in on this here. Here's the play on the heavy. LG versus LG. Is CNZ going to do it again? Inject for a little bit of insurance. The shotgun blast to try and finish it. The spit isn't going to save his life, and RAISY floats him. CNZ saw the spit. He's like, I can't land down there. And RAISY with a great play to tie it at 3.
Oh no, I didn't expect him to miss that shotgun shot. You know, like I said, Sorlag, she's a big girl, and, you know, it's not exactly hard to miss, but, you know, literally tickled him with the shotgun at that range and didn't clean him out. That was bizarre, to say the least. But RAISY still needs to be careful, though. He is railable. He needs to stay on his toes. The heavy is up. I don't think really going to have much of a chance to contest the heavy here, so he needs to try and eat up the knights when he gets the opportunity. At least he's got an acid spit to keep him away. If not, he would have had to possibly be curtains for him, but he's only on 28 HP. He's going to see if he can contest this mega, but he's going to go straight into CNZ there. The CNZ will pick up the mega. Does have the inject to his name, and the heavy will be picked up in the next 5 seconds. So CNZ's just trying to get there ASAP. We'll find him. So will RAISY, but uses the inject. He should be able to clean him up here, but the LG's not looking too good for CNZ, but the rocket's be able to finish him up. Yes, it does. Some very weird engagements here for you, but, you know, can't say the scoreline 5-3 in favor of CNZ.
And it's just rare that you see these kind of, not really flubs from RAISY, but he's just, his LG is just not strong enough right now. CNZ taking advantage of that fact. 2 frag lead. Just doing really, really good damage as he needs to. Tribal raging out from RAISY, pushing him off, and here comes the push that we know and love from RAISY. Shotgun, but the direct rocket's doing so much damage. Well done from CNZ again. He has to maximize damage in those engagements to try and have a chance off the spawn. Does have inject, does have LG, and he's going to be waiting patiently on the... Wow, what a drop rail from RAISY. He's just going to take the damage and run. Inject's still up. CNZ trying to get some armor here. There's the LG from above. RAISY in a bad way here. A little bit of inject for insurance, and he melts him before the heavy. Big plays from CNZ.
That was a real shame there, but coming straight in,
Lord.
darting through the rail, and look at that, CNZ is stuck through the portal. Didn't manage to get through. That was such bad timing. And now RAISY with a nice stack lead after that first rail on spawn on the LG staircase, dropping down for the Mega. But CNZ is back to a healthy stat. That was a lovely rail there again onto CNZ. Trying to go 2 for 2. Not going to happen, but the rocket should help him a little bit more. Good rocket to rail combo. And RAISY has now tied things up 6-all.
And that is just brutal. Internally screaming, maybe externally screaming, door stuck, door stuck. If you know, then you know. CNZ comes back with a vengeance, but the spit melts him 7-7, and we're starting to get a bloodbath on our hands here, Lethal.
We certainly are indeed, and RAISY, huge stack to work with. Let's see if he can cut off the rotation, which he has done, but the shotgun comes out, but CNZ's the one who wins this. Just don't know what's going on here. I'm just gobsmacked with some of the situation they put himself into, and RAISY again has tied things up. Back and forth between these two juggernauts. But CNZ still trying to keep it as close as he can, but wants to contest the Mega, but knows that the possibility of him being able to make something happen is unlikely. Takes a rail for his troubles. RAISY looking very good after that Mega. Going to try and get a heavy if he can. Up in the next second, but can RAISY be able to make some work of this? Good rocket, good acid spit from him as well. And it needs to try and flank around. Will he be able to get with the rail? Yes, he does. So now he's got to try and rotate round and contest that Mega again.
Just brutal. CNZ already using his inject. Getting out of rail range with those 225s, but still very weak. Both players are very weak. Is RAISY waiting above, trying to land a rail? Ooh. Good rocket after the Mega pickup, just right in the old breadbasket here. CNZ railable at 75 HP, needs to be careful. He's going to have 225s to work with. Decent rocket on the fadeaway here, but RAISY again has the verticality. Jumps over, eats a rail, and somehow CNZ gets out alive and turns it around. RAISY's so incredibly weak right now. There's the inject, and CNZ wants to chase this. He has to know that RAISY's weak. Can he catch him out?
This is a much more aggressive style of Molten Falls we've seen compared to previous matchups. But RAISY, just gets cleaned up with that long-range shotgun. He was only on 4 HP. And this could be CNZ's time to now extend his lead. He's got the heavy, he's got the stack. Will he be able to clean him up? RAISY's LG is much better here, but doesn't finish with the LG. Sorry, with the shotgun, it's RAISY's the one who cleans him up with the LG. RAISY had a much better tracing aim there with that LG in comparison to what CNZ has had in the past few engagements with the LG on LG. But RAISY does have that acid spit. He's going to be using it to see if he can do a little bit more damage to CNZ, but has to let him get away with that Mega. He's going to see if he can contest the heavy, but misses the first rail. Maybe not the best weapon of choice, but now CNZ is the one who takes the lead. 3 minutes left remaining here, 40. And this has been an absolute bloodbath between the two players. Can RAISY do something? Wow. No, he won't. And CNZ first time in this game to extend his lead.
Oh, needs to be careful. The rocket jump off his face. Sends him flying, actually. 11-9, CNZ very, very weak. RAISY's going to be able to grab this Mega. Is he going to go up the jump pad for the armor shard? He will. This should be a free rail for CNZ. Indeed it is. Converts that nicely, but he's still in rail range. He needs to be careful here. RAISY doesn't have a rail yet, but any machine gun will do, or make that some LG. Trying to light up the night sky here. CNZ still so weak. Does have inject back up. He's going to hold on to it for the time being. 91 HP after that health pickup, which puts him out of rail range, which RAISY now has. Need to be careful. Fantastic defensive rail, risking it all for the biscuit, trying to get some more damage here. Waiting for this armor shard, just praying it comes up. He can't really dive on this Mega. RAISY's going to steal it right out from under him. Up the jump pad. Lots of LG from CNZ, and there's the inject. Really nice play from CNZ, trying to deny the telly play, but he eats a rail, and this could be curtains. 12 HP, has to be so careful. The machine gun, is it going to be enough? And it is. Finally peppers him down. 2 minutes left, down by 1. RAISY looking to try and tie this up. He steals away the heavy. There's the LG from above. CNZ wants to try and keep him weak. He has to know that RAISY doesn't really have the best stack here, and this is the time for him to fight. But at the same time, are you going to risk tying it up? RAISY going in for the Mega. Mega picked up by CNZ mid-fight, and that's going to win him that one. 12-10 lethal.
Oh, dearie me. This is definitely one of the larger scorelines in terms of how close this game's been. And on this map in particular, CNZ has that inject again. Heavy is up, but it looks like RAISY decided to prioritize going for the frag rather than actually going for the heavy, which is a great stuff from him. He just needs to try and clean up CNZ. He's only on 52 HP, but that direct is not going to help in any way. Just enough. RAISY to back off just a little bit here. So CNZ was very lucky. He could have easily been taken down or chased down rather after that direct rocket, but RAISY decided to play it safe and prioritize the biggest stack that he has. But 50 seconds left. CNZ may have to play the cat and mouse game here. Hasn't got any armor shards to his name. Needs to try and find a light if he can, and still none above that Mega. He's wondering what he can do here. It's not railable, but he's definitely not in the best spot in terms of stack, but in terms of positioning, it's looking very good. But he does have the inject if he is put on the back foot. But so far, CNZ needs to try and survive for another 20 seconds here. 40, but looks like RAISY isn't really going to get given the opportunity to even take him down once, let alone twice here.
And right off the bat, CNZ shuts all of us up and takes down RAISY on Molten Falls. And I think that's a testament to how strong CNZ is on this map. He does get caught out, but it's too little too late. Even with the inject, can he even get this frag? He does, but at the buzzer. So RAISY actually falls at the hands of CNZ, and I think everyone's predictions are wrong. Shouts to those who predicted, CNZ. You've just won a lot of channel points, I feel like.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of channel points won, I think, or lost, shall we say, from a lot of these matchups today. You know, as we've these matches we've had, considering the opponents we're actually watching, I think we've assumed that some of them are going to be a lot more one-sided than they actually are. But this is almost close to upset city. You know, Garpy taking that map on Cypher earlier. You know, Max almost toppling Nosfer apart from that third map. This could be another potential upset which could occur. You know, CNZ winning this first map. It is a Molten Falls. It is one of his best maps in the competitive pool in the Quake Pro League. But what can RAISY do here? He did a phenomenal job in a lot of those engagements, but a lot of them were very messy, very chaotic, and it was very hard to kind of establish what both players wanted to do. You know, we saw that RAISY tried on numerous occasions to try and trade off CNZ after some of those bouts, but it just wasn't meant to be. And RAISY was the one with the larger damage count there and map presence, an extra 215 more damage. RAISY did have the better rail, but you saw there, look at CNZ, the amount of shots he fired with the LG and still hit 44%. Very well played there from CNZ, but RAISY's rail against an Anarchy, especially on that speed and pace on a map like that, again, very well played from both these players. But we'll have to see if RAISY can at least make some kind of two-map comeback, see if he can get a reverse sweep going, or if CNZ can continue to pressure on.
Yeah, the conversation has changed from will CNZ get a map to will he beat RAISY in the set and go 2-0, and that's quite the conversation to have. As any given Sunday, Lethal, that's exactly why we tune in every Sunday, because things like this can happen. RAISY looking damn near immortal week in, week out, and just right off the bat gets popped in the face by CNZ. Strong performance out of the gate, and the next one's going to be even more exciting now that, you know, we see that CNZ can do it. He has the momentum on his side. Is RAISY going to falter? Is he going to drop 0-2 to CNZ?
Well, it's the question which is going to get asked, but the only problem is you know, that was CNZ's better map, you know, one of the best maps he has on offer. So, you know, can he do the same on Corrupted Keep? You know, can he do the same on the third and final map? It's very difficult to ask. I still think it's a tall order, though. But the only thing I'm happy about is the fact that the only worrying issue I had with CNZ is if he equals the aggression of RAISY, I kind of feel like, you know, 8 times out of 10 that RAISY will probably win those engagements. But it was actually CNZ winning most of those engagements, which is a little bit of a surprise here. So it gives me more, you know, comfort in knowing that CNZ could take the series. And even on a map such as Corrupted Keep, where you have to put on a lot of pressure, you know, the only range you can kind of have is with the heavy machine gun or, you know, long range rockets and keep him at bay with the LG. There's a lot of small minor errors you can make, we can lead up to major faults on the Corrupted Keep. But from so far, what we've seen, CNZ is looking very, very good, and RAISY just needs to be a little bit extra cautious on which fights he wants to take in comparison to that last map.
Yeah, that first map, I mean, RAISY's LG looking a little shaky. It's hard to track down that Anarchy. He needs to put some meat on his bones, but that's neither here nor there, as we're going to get into the second map, Corrupted Keep, live between CNZ and RAISY right now as we start off on CNZ's point of view. Galena versus Strogan Peeker, and RAISY gets caught out, tries to get a little bit of damage with that Peeker, and very fortunate that CNZ didn't just light him up right there.
And he still has that totem whenever he wants to use it. Doesn't need it as of yet. But he's going to keep it with him anyway. At least he's got some info along that banana corridor to rockets. So if he is there, he can now trap him when he sees fit. Beautiful LG. Nice rocket there. Doesn't really do too much, but will he be able to clean him up before the Mega comes up? No, he does not. RAISY just manages to pick up that Mega before he gets taken down. And CNZ is trying to do his best to recover as well. But items aren't fully segregated, but almost enough for both items to be contested at some point in the future. Heavy is up in the next few seconds, and CNZ does have another totem if he wants to try and push for this Heavy, which he is going to try and do, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it here. Both players so weak, but RAISY's the one who's going to try and back away with the Heavy, but the totem has definitely been a lifesaver for CNZ.
Yeah, CNZ really impressive right now. I mean, we've seen it before. He's more than capable of pulling something like this off, but against RAISY, it's just very, very interesting to see. Still a lot of work to be done. 0-0, 130 in. This has been known to be RAISY's keep. Maybe not so much now, but we'll see as the LG rages on from CNZ. Just a little tickle, and he's going to make his great escape back to the Mega, but RAISY's right on his tail to chip away on the item. When RAISY just going all in, risking it all in, the rockets pay off, and that's just such a RAISY play, just to go in, full aggro, I'm going to hit everything, I'm going to make you hit all of your defensive shots, and the minute you don't, you're going to go down. LG into the Peeker play, is it going to be enough? Not quite. RAISY needs to be careful. CNZ very weak. RAISY has a little bit of armor. Make that a lot as he picks up the Heavy. He's going to get himself back onto the Mega. CNZ drops and steals it, and RAISY takes out RAISY. And we're back to square one at 0-all.
Oh, I think that was a bit of a greedy play there from RAISY. Maybe he was just hoping that CNZ wouldn't contest the item as strongly as he did. But if he picked up that Mega, that could have been a completely different ball game. He would have full stack advantage, full map control, and it's up to him how he wants to pick up the items as he sees fit. But doesn't matter now, as RAISY picks up the first frag anyway. Does have that pick if he wants to use it again. Picks up the Mega, and CNZ is in a little bit of trouble. But as I say that, RAISY's the one on 10 HP. That health orb may have saved him. The Peeker could finish him off, and yes, it does.
Wow.
Absolute madness as RAISY's the one who manages to win that fight, but he could still get finished off here or traded out, but he just manages to get away with his life, only by the skin of his teeth.
5 HP Peeker play to take another frag, and that's just incredible. And the rockets into LG, that's going to make it 3. This is more of the RAISY that you're used to seeing here, as he's just looking to press the advantage. Peeker in the pocket again, a little over 3 minutes in. Right around the corner, direct into the LG. CNZ in a bad way right now, needs to be careful, and a dunk from above. As the Mega's nowhere to be found, but that LG will find the tail end of CNZ, and RAISY goes up 4-0, turning on the heat on this one.
Oh, it's looking ridiculous. His aim skill, his gun skill, everything is just coming together for RAISY. He seems a lot more comfortable and confident on how he wants to approach CNZ in comparison to that last map on Molten Falls. As the LG is still looking very good, he's still been real trouble for CNZ, but look at that, okay, some of the jumps CNZ is doing is a little bit predictable, but he's just hoping to rely on the speed and then catch RAISY off guard, but it's just not happening here. But he's used a Peeker anyway and still manages to take him down 40. Goodness sake.
Shotgun Peeker to shotgun, what a play. As RAISY heating up, and CNZ, a little bit of a gauntlet teaser. As you could tell, RAISY's popping off. He's feeling it right now. He flashes the gauntlet, you know it's real. RAISY's going to be able to grab the lower armor shard, making his way to the Heavy. He's going to be a little bit late as CNZ wants to punish this. Can he do it, though? He's taking a lot of damage. Both players pretty weak. CNZ will use the totem to heal back up as he makes his way up the banana. RAISY really get caught out in the graveyard here. The Pika comes out. He has to destroy it to get out of there, and somehow doesn't take any damage. CNZ had the opportunity, but he's going to be content with just stealing away the Mega. RAISY does a good job of at least getting the upper armor shard. So we're getting closer to the 5-minute mark. Good shotgun to deal with that totem. Not taking any damage here. Getting forced through the telly. He's going to drop down, and RAISY just has all the answers to the test. He's hitting rockets. The movement plays, just making CNZ second guess, and somehow comes out on top again, 7-0.
This is going to be a very difficult task for CNZ to even make some kind of comeback happen, especially if you bounce over the Mega like that. That's almost GG already, and you know, still halfway through the game. CNZ, the only way he's going to at least try and come back from this is if he keeps a good stack of totems to feed him info, to try and get full item control, just try and make something happen. But when you get to playing like RAISY, where every bout, every engagement you're going to take against RAISY is going to end up being on very little HP or little stack just overall, you know, what can you do? You know, you are going to get traded out quite a lot, especially with the Strog and the mobility he has. It's, you know, a big ask. You know, it's a tall order, and CNZ is trying to make it happen, but it's highly unlikely here, especially with the LG of RAISY. Yeah, this is like literally the RAISY we know and love anyway. So the Maestro man is just playing with his dinner, 10-0 lead, and he's still got 4 minutes to try and close this map out.
Rockets should be another one. Can CNZ capitalize? He does put his first frag on the board 6 minutes in. A little brutal. There's still time, Lethal. Shotgun to the face, though. That's going to put a stop to that immediately. 42 HP, very weak after that altercation.
He hurt you.
Careful. The nails in the butt cheeks. 27 HP. RAISY needs to be careful. CNZ trying to make his way in, and he does. A little bit of a tickle. And so signs of life as he doubles back for the Mega, and unfortunate for RAISY, that's going to leave him with really nowhere to go. He does have rockets he can try and chip on this heavy, but full map control goes to CNZ, but he's still down by 9 frags. Pika comes out, a little bit of rocket damage. RAISY playing the defense, trying to make sure that CNZ does not aggress. Doesn't push the situation here. A little bit of rocket damage. Has to push through the doorway, and there's 100 damage rocket for your troubles. Thanks for playing, and that sends CNZ packing. I just don't see CNZ being able to break through RAISY's defense right now. And RAISY's not even playing full defensive yet. He's still fighting for these items. He's not yet begun to fight, even with a 9 frag lead. No foot off the gas from RAISY.
No, he's still having a bit of a giggle at the moment and just treating like his playground. The good rockets, but great LG there from CNZ. But you're all right, though. It could be too little too late here. 2.5 minutes. He's going to have to catch him on spawn every single time, but it's unlikely, especially the peak as well. Without a rail, it is not going to help. RAISY just hoping to finish him off if he can.
Oh, gauntlet, he's going to do it!
Oh, I knew that he was going to be able to try and gauntlet in. Sadly, he doesn't. But good try though, RAISY. Thanks a lot.
CNZ has the moves. He hit him with the shimmy, got out of there, didn't get the gauntlet. Nice LG work, but the shotgun will prevail from RAISY. CNZ's like, all right, you may win this, but you're not going to gauntlet me. Another shotgun blast from RAISY. Putting CNZ in the grave. 13-4. More LG into Peeker. Almost takes him out. Totem goes down. And another shotgun blast from RAISY. He's just racking up the kills at this point.
Oh, this is just absurd. Minute 40 left on the clock. RAISY with a 10 frag lead. LGing him to no end. CNZ manages to get away only for a small amount of time. RAISY's just sitting there waiting like a hawk, just waiting for it to approach him up top, which she managed to clean up nicely. 15-4, completely different opposite end of the spectrum from what we saw in that Molten Falls game. And it's what I mentioned earlier, and the great Pika play again. It's the fact that, okay, Molten Falls, it's one of your better maps, but can you do it on, you know, maps like Corrupted Keep or some of the other smaller maps? And the answer so far is still no, but we do have a third and final map to come after this to see if you can close out the series for either player, as it is going to be 1-1, and RAISY will take this second map.
Yeah, this is looking like RAISY's keep again here. He's just tacking him on. Good machine gun work. CNZ can't land the damage. He needs 19-4. RAISY wants to put up a clean 20. You could tell as LG on LG. A little bit of peeker action as well. CNZ trying to get around the corner to do some damage while he was in the peeker. Really good LG from CNZ. RAISY's going to escape for the time being, 75 HP, as CNZ will take the upper armor shard. Heavy's not going to be up for another 12 seconds. This is an opportunity for CNZ, but is RAISY going to put up his 20th? So close, one more tick. Oh, and the rocket doesn't land, and again, RAISY with the shotgun, somehow dodging that rocket. Looking like Neo out here, and we have our 20th frag. 20-4 for RAISY. Much more of that classic RAISY performance. We saw the flashes of Gauntlet, didn't convert, but the scoreline is probably more so what people expected. But we are going to the third map for the decider of the series. CNZ taking the first map, Molten Falls. I mean, his playground maybe is still a lot of work. He still barely got out of there alive, but 1-1 for these players as we're going to go into the third map, Lethal.
Yeah, 6,354 damage for RAISY, just under 2,300 more than CNZ. And CNZ was the one with more item control, which, well, when I say more item control, I only mean by like 2 or 3. It wasn't a huge amount, but CNZ just couldn't really do much, you know, became a little bit more predictable during the second half. I think he kind of knew it was over by the 5-minute mark anyway. Some great Pika play. Yeah, you can see there, you know, a little smirk on his face. He knew that it was pretty much over. It's just a matter of trying to keep the score respectable. He couldn't. It was still 20-4 after all that. But it didn't give RAISY a gauntlet kill. So, you know,
look at that
could be
play,
worse.
Though. Slick to get out of the corner. CNZ was like, ha! And RAISY was like, hey, I'll get him next time. I'll get him next time. He's like, I don't need to posterize every person I play in the pro league, okay? But he's gonna look. You know he wants to. You know he wants to, especially on this third map. He's not done with the gauntlet. He's not. But 20-4, what a scoreline in favor of RAISY. The interesting part, again, the series is tied 1-1. That was not a 2-0. If you're just tuning in, CNZ actually taking the first map, Molten Falls, against RAISY. RAISY clapping back, quite a statement with 20-4. But third map, Lethal. This is for all the marbles. What do you think?
I still think it's going to be RAISY winning 2-1. It's like I said earlier, maybe if he can equal the aggression or if he plays a bit more passive and cautious, then you could take him down. But even then, it's just by like, you know, taking one map. I think for Quake to keep, we kind of knew that was going to happen. But me personally, when I saw the aggression and the flair we saw from CNZ in terms of actually trying to flank RAISY and trying to at least keep him at bay or just equaling the aggression overall, I thought, well, okay, if he's doing that on Molten Falls, surely he'd be able to do that on Corrupt to Keep. But there's a few times as well where RAISY was playing, you know, very greedy, but he got away with it. There was only one time he didn't. When he picked up the heavy, it was on very low HP. He just bolted straight in for the mega, but he still manages to go for the trade and then keep CNZ guessing where he's going to be all the time and just making sure that there was absolutely no way that CNZ could come back any way, shape or form. But on this third map, again, it's going to be a little bit more tough, but then again, CNZ is a larger map. He is better on these larger map pools in the Quake Pro League, but for RAISY, just needs to keep on his toes and making sure that he doesn't give away that first frag, because you know what CNZ can be like on Ruins. But we are going to head into the third and final map. We'll be starting with CNZ's POV to see if it can close out this series or if RAISY will continue his streak.
Well, the channel predictions are in, and I hate to break it to you, surprise, surprise, it looks like people are going to try and side with RAISY on this one. CNZ trying to make something magic happen. Athena versus Nyx should be interesting. Those hooks can help him traverse the map and hopefully get the hell out of there in case RAISY has some phase-shifting plays up his sleeve. Coming out of that Ghost Walk could be absolutely a nightmare for CNZ. He's waiting down below, checking his corners. I'm sure after the cooler play, everyone's going to check those corners. There's the 2 hooks to get up close and personal and steal away the mega. That rocket would have been dead on target here. RAISY with a good Ghost Walk, but he backs that ass up into the rail. RAISY takes the first frag a minute in.
Beautiful stuff there from RAISY. CNZ guessed wrong. RAISY just stood his ground to make sure he can do his duty and clean up that first frag, which he did perfectly. Only 1 minute has passed and already we've seen quite a bit of action compared to the previous matchup on Ruins. Beautiful rail there as he was trying to use that third hook to go up to get the mega. Still manages to survive. CNZ looking for the spawn. Guessed wrong. Only slightly though. RAISY's come up for him to say hello. Clean him up nicely with the LG. He's going to try and finish him off. Yes, he does. And RAISY is the one who gets his lead. But already CNZ is pushing in to try and get that trade frag. And RAISY decided to go straight past him, go to the courtyard, get the hourglasses, get that light armor, and realizes that CNZ is directly underneath him. Needs to be so careful here. Takes one rail. Surely CNZ's going to at least try and clean him up here. No, he doesn't. He picks up the mega. Then he commits suicide straight afterwards, 40. And now the scoreline as tied, and CNZ needs to recover from that last engagement.
Just massive amounts of damage from CNZ. RAISY has to aim the rocket at the ground because Athena can get up in your face so close, and he takes himself out, ties it back at 2 minutes in. CNZ holding his ground. He's not going to make this easy for RAISY. He's going to shock the world if he can take this 2-1. So I think he heard the jump pad, so he should know. Ghost Walk is right on his heels. RAISY trying to do some damage on this Mega. The Mega's picked up the swap to rail as he runs out of LG. Needs to back away. Barely staying alive. 17 HP as RAISY will miss that rail. A little bit of chip damage will give him the information as CNZ's still so weak. And RAISY smells blood. He just wants this frag. He's going to keep chasing. CNZ trying to do defensive damage as he can. Almost hitting that rail. Somehow staying alive for the time being. RAISY's still on the hunt right now. Wow, dance with the devil from CNZ, but he will survive. RAISY, however, will grab the heavy. CNZ wins out on the Mega and does. I thought there was going to be some damage from down below, but RAISY, no dice on that one as he tries to thread the needle with the rail. And so CNZ gets himself out of quite the sticky situation here and looking decent again as he grabs that outside armor.
Yeah, during that last minute, it was great to see how proactive RAISY was. Like, you know, keeping him at bay whilst he's getting health orb. As he's going towards him, trying to pin him on the staircase whilst he's going for the light armor. Just being proactive as possible, just trying to time consume and try and recover whilst being a nuisance to CNZ. That was great plays there from RAISY. Just making sure he's making as much use of his time as possible when he's trying to at least distract his opponent. But he's already taken one rail. CNZ looking for 2 for 2. Both miss, so both in either trade, but CNZ actually gets another one. He's looking for the 2 for 2 now, but RAISY's not going to give him the chance. He's going to push him with the LG. He's actually Ghost walks behind him and goes straight past him anyway. Recovers a little bit, not available yet, definitely won't be, especially from the light. And now he's going to pick up the Mega in the next few seconds. And as you can see, that CNZ will not have time to contest it, but at least to try and make something happen. Probably not the best play there, as RAISY already had the LG waiting for him. I mentioned it earlier before the series started, but it's normally highly unlikely that RAISY will not expect these surprises. He had the LG out ready in case CNZ did try and approach him. And now RAISY's just waiting for him to drop down that jump pad. Great prediction there and good rail from RAISY to keep him at bay in the heavy and keeping that high ground. Still 1-0 here, 40, and there's been a lot of action, but not really too many frags.
Yeah, this is a very close one. So we're rounding the halfway point here, still tied at 1 as you mentioned, and I'm just really impressed with how CNZ is playing right now. I know he was capable, but I feel like RAISY would have kind of asserted dominance by now, but no, CNZ holding his own. He's going to drop down, and that's going to be really a nightmare as he has to pop the Ghost Walk. Huge rocket from CNZ as he comes up the jump pad with a surprise. He's going to be able to grab the heavy. Can he rotate back to the Mega? He does have hooks, but as we saw before, when he tried to hook up, the LG was waiting, so he thinks twice. Going to delay it a little more, maybe chip damage on the way out, but no dice. RAISY's in and out. Almost connecting with that pixel rail through the crack there. CNZ with a reply of his own, can't land it. 5 minutes in, still tied at 1 all lethal.
And RAISY hasn't had rockets for a long time now. He hasn't really been able to get the opportunity to grab them, as it seems like CNZ, every time he pushes for the Mega, CNZ is there on that rocket bridge to make sure he can't get him. Finally, RAISY manages to get him, so this could be a completely different change of pace. We can see a lot more stalemate situations going for these items. And RAISY just purposely delaying it as much as he can, hoping that if he doesn't hear CNZ, then there's a good chance he could pick it up without CNZ knowing the timing. But CNZ was right there and then waiting for him. He's got the flank on, but the LG comes out for CNZ. That would have been great, but the Ghost Walk comes through. The RAISY's got directly behind him. Good rockets. But look at that, though. CNZ escape plan. Going to have that jump pad from the heavy worked wonders for him. RAISY still got the stack advantage, but he's desperate to try and contest this Mega. That was a good rocket. Good LG from CNZ. How on earth did he win that? As he's picked up the Mega, he's got the lead. RAISY, it's not looking good for him on the spawn. He's going to try and stop him from going for that rail, but RAISY's backed off, double back to try and pick it up again. But he has to be so careful now, as he's about to pick up the heavy. This comes up in the next few seconds, but CNZ is the one with the lead in this third and final map of the series.
Ooh, that wall jump. I love that from RAISY as he wants to get down there and do some damage. But the play on the Mega previously, he already popped Ghost Walk, so he went all in with no escape plan. CNZ punishing appropriately, but now he's fighting for his life on this Mega. He is going to claim it, does decent damage with the nail gun, but takes rail on the way out. Stacks about even, and RAISY finds another one. Can he find us? Almost finds another one to tie it at 2. There's the Ghost Walk. CNZ has no idea, but RAISY's already gone outside to the courtyard to grab that armor. 91 HP for CNZ. He can take the rail. Can he take the heavy? He does. Takes a rocket to the face too, and the hook won't save him. As RAISY ties it at 2-7 minutes in.
Oh, that was such a shame. I think he was trying to get a point blank with a shotgun just to guarantee that frag, but like you said, no dice. As RAISY, only on 92 HP, still going to keep the pressure on CNZ. It's 2 for 2. This is probably one of the last maps you want to try and be a frag down on. Good Ghost Walk. He did not expect it at all. Huge surprise there from RAISY to CNZ, and saying CNZ was just like, oh, okay, you're right next to me. Well, I guess you can have this heavy and take 2 direct rockets. And CNZ, at least he's got the Mega now, but it's got plenty of time to work. It's got 2.5 minutes on this map to tie things up and give 40's favourite Sun and Death matchup it's all loves. But oh, the CNZ is looking not too good here, but this, the damage output still, CNZ manages to get taken down there by RAISY, but RAISY has slowly extended his lead. Just got to be careful not to get traded out.
He's very weak, can't contest the heavy, nowhere to be found. Very, very weak still. Does have 225s in this area to work with. Ghostwalk is back up, more importantly. 2 minutes left, down by 2. Great rail straight into the Ghostwalk. Doesn't want to take any damage, but CNZ is right there to punish, but somehow the shotgun prevails. CNZ just gets a little too crazy. Gives RAISY a layup here. That's also giving RAISY a 3 frag lead. Little peak rail from RAISY. Both players miss with their rails, but I mean, advantage RAISY. Tacks on some more damage here. Great movement from RAISY to traverse the map, get back on top. He's going to be able to grab this Mega. Pressure mounting right now for CNZ as he tries to fly through. Can't land the damage. RAISY chasing with the shotgun. Good LG, but that shotgun blast from around the corner right in the chest. 6-2, a minute 20 lethal. I think CNZ has missed his opportunity.
Yeah, he certainly has indeed. He took some huge risks way too early. Could have been a little bit more patient, and he's become a little bit predictable as well. Like, you know, how many times he's used that verticality to try and get up to the Mega from downstairs? Like, you know, he's done it quite a few times now. It's understandable. It's only one of very few ways you can do it with Athena, but he's done it on so many occasions trying to contest that Mega, but it's just not worked out for him. And RAISY's just always there, sitting with the LG, waiting for him to come up to say hello. It's pretty much a disadvantage, really, for him. But in his 3 frags in 45 seconds, it's not going to happen. CNZ can chase him down all he wants. He does have the speed and the pace, but eventually RAISY is going to have that Ghost Walk in the next 20 seconds, depending on what hourglasses he picks up over the course of the map. But yeah, very unlikely here for you.
Yeah, RAISY just trying to stay alive. I think the only opportunity CNZ had was to try and push when he saw him out in the courtyard off the spawn, but playing it a little bit too safe. Now with 20 seconds left, he has Ghost Walk, and this one is going to be in RAISY's hands, 15 seconds and counting. But I would say a phenomenal performance from CNZ on this series, taking map number 1. This one was close, but RAISY just had a little too much, and there it is. A little bit of gauntlet. We knew it was going to happen. We knew it. But hats off, RAISY. Stabilizes after the first map loss, takes the series 2-1. Second map in true RAISY fashion. I mean, huge scoreline. Third map was pretty good, but CNZ just didn't have what it took this week to take down RAISY, but still hats off. I think he played really, really well.
Yeah, again, CNZ had a lot of item control, you know, 25 items to RAISY's 13, and RAISY did just under 800 damage. So you saw there that CNZ, it was weird. In that kind of retrospect, when you saw that matchup, you think RAISY was the one with more control in a lot of the situations, but it's actually CNZ with a lot more of the item control, and he was just trying to contest everything. I still feel like when CNZ was trying to contest for the Mega, those last 2 or 3 times with the grapple hook, it just, maybe he should have just tried a different tactic entirely or flanked from a different route, because you saw where RAISY was just sitting there with the LG expecting it every single time, and the 2 or 3 times he went up there, he took, like, you know, a huge chunk of damage, and that would be his stack gone straight away. And it was just a shame, really. Just CNZ become a little bit too predictable during that second half of the matchup, and RAISY just doing RAISY things, really, just continuing the aggression during that last few moments, and then making sure to keep himself at bay away from his opponent to secure that series win, or the series victory, shall we say. But great stuff. The accuracy, not exactly the best across the board, but the way they were both playing, they took a lot of risks, and definitely some obscure angles which I don't normally take. But well played from RAISY, just managing to edge out CNZ. But CNZ looked much, much better compared to previous weeks, even if I lost that series 2-1.
Yeah, agreed. Again, the leaderboards on the EU side, the skill gap is so just a narrow margin. CNZ technically at the bottom of the EU leaderboards almost takes out the one seed. It's just any given Sunday, lethal. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. A fantastic first map. I think the LG was really shining on Molten Falls for CNZ. Again, taking down a Sorlag is no small feat, especially against RAISY. RAISY's LG just looked a little bit shaky, a little bit off. Whether it's admittedly it is harder to track the Anarchy, but RAISY usually wins those, and CNZ pulled it out. Map number 2 again, just a bit of a blowout in terms of RAISY's keep. It's really hard to take him on that map, and then the third map just goes his way. I think still the story is going to be CNZ played fantastically. RAISY, it was his series to lose, right? Everyone kind of expected,
Yeah.
based on the predictions as well, that RAISY was just going to clean sweep it. CNZ surprised us all and showed the world why he's here, why he's in the Quake Pro League, and why any given Sunday anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely. Like RAISY, he put up a very good fight throughout the entire course of the maps. We said that Molten Falls is probably the only map CNZ will take. He took it. Wasn't with these though. I just felt like RAISY just was a little bit too aggro with trying to go for the trades, which he probably realised himself. And CNZ's probably thinking, oh, okay, well, I'll take another fight. Why not? I've still got the stack from the last engagement. And it's quite weird because you don't normally see when RAISY plays against another opponent to have such a large or decent enough stack to even fight again. But the good thing is CNZ expected it every time. Crop to keep, complete watch out. It's just basically RAISY all day long. But it's a shame. CNZ really kept that close. But RAISY, that's the problem with Ruins. It's the fact that if you're 1 or 2 frags down, or you take too many high risks towards the last 3 minutes of that game, you just think, like what a waste. I should have saved it for a little bit later stage of the game. But these things happen. They've learned from their mistakes. But GG for RAISY, the Maestro man, continuing on in that first place position in the EU Pro League.
Yeah, absolutely. So another set down, and when we return, we're going to have Rafa versus Dewey on the NA side of things. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Quake Pro League action.